Good morning, sheep fans. Cammy's the name, sheep's the game, and look at my new pickup. Bumper, all fixed the way she No, I'm just kidding. That's my pickup there. That belongs to someone that most of you will know quite well by now. It is, of course, Mr. Cussiter. Done a big intro for you there, mate. You can pretend you're all bashful in that.
Oh well, you got to stay humble.
Oh, who says that? Anthony Joshua. You know how well that worked for him?
Yeah.
Right, I'm a bit more Tyson Fury. Right, so what's happening, folks? I should tell you, we're in Orkney. We're over in the Isle of Orkney with the Cussiters. We're at Laga Livestock, Laga Farms. And Sean's going to give us a wee tour about. We're going to see what his place is all about. Behind the scenes, not quite as heavily or as well done, we'll say, as this farming life, just the sheep game style. So Sean, start us off with where we are just now.
I suppose this would be kind of our newer sheep shed. We built it about 4 years ago. There was an amalgamation of probably 4 different old kind of byres, mixing from tide byres and just an old general purpose shed. The tide byre that a lot of folk would probably be a bit gutted that we knocked down. We'd probably be over 100-year-old, but it was for no use for us. You can, like, as far as farming, it was making lambing time very labour intensive. You can, everything was wheelbarrowed in, wheelbarrowed out, and it's just, so we had to try and modernise the setup a wee bit. So we just knocked them all down, put up a steel frame, and we've kind of, what we've gained for it is we've gained a slatted tank, and we still have as much general purpose space for the rest of the year out of this shed. So it's worked out quite well, and this will be our 4th or 5th year in it now, and it seems to be working good. It's full of, like, we're kind of tail end lambs at the moment. It's it's the end of February, so.
And do you lamb sheep in here?
Aye, lamb sheep in here,
so
yeah.
These will be going for lambing time?
Aye, the idea is to get these fattened up probably within the next month, and then this generally just holds all our single bear and ewes, and they lamb in here. The singles are never actually off the slats unless they get adopted onto, so right. They seem to do fine on there. We're lambs. We took more in this year. We'd have probably had half this amount in this time of year last year, so we're a wee bit disappointed. And we dosed the lambs when Noromectin at weaning time, and it was going to be our break dose, and it didn't work. I think we have some resistant worms because we've been using a white drench the whole year round, and then we thought we'd just try something else at weaning time just to clean out anything, and it didn't work because the lambs got worms after it. And I think the way the summer was, a long dry summer, the Nemrodiris only came later on in the year, and it checked our lambs, so it means that we've just got more inside this year to finish. But there's about 60 coming out of this tomorrow actually to go off, so they're starting to thrive now. Generally, when you take lambs in off the grass, you're feeding them for about 5-6 weeks before you see any difference in them, and then they just start motoring, and then every week you see a big difference.
Aye,
but
they're looking fit, I must say. I came a wee walk in when Sean was away getting the dogs, and I was thinking to myself, look, why are all these lambs still here? They're looking pretty solid. They'll be a fair weight in them. I mean, they'll be 45 kilos, will they not? Plus?
I would taking them all to about 46 kilos.
46, aye. They look a fair weight. Like, I sometimes talk about it on here, but like the sheep slats are the dream. Like these slats. How deep's your tank down there? What is it, 2 feet?
2 feet deep, and there's two pints in the tank that we shutter down an 8 feet sump hole. So we stick the slurry pump. We can just take off 4 of these things and take out one of the bars, and we drop the slurry pump down to mix it up. We actually usually get about 2 load of pot ale from the distillery to put in it at the end of the season, and then it just kind of naturally breaks it up. You get the yeast in it, and that naturally breaks it up.
And is it good in the tanker?
Goes out in the tanker then.
Doddle really then?
Yeah, just...
Do you lift this and wash it with a pressure washer or never bother?
No, never bother. No, we'll pressure wash the top before lambing time, that's about it really. But these lambs are getting fed a kilo a day of that Harborough lamb finisher and ad lib silage, and you can see how clean they're staying, you can, and there's not a bad foot in it.
Oh no, they're good lambs. This is the dream for me, like, is, well, first, when I get the farm at some point, we will, of course, and then, like, get one of these sheds in once we can afford it. They're obviously great things, a bit of investment, but like, to me it's different in Orkney because the winters are so long. It really is a no-brainer up here. Yeah, when like you're not far off. Like when I walked in here, I was making the joke to myself that I thought I'd come into Norway, but you're not far off the kind of long winters like they've got. So it makes sense. Well, Orkney's a really hard place to stock because you grow such a mammoth amount of grass in the summer seasons, but then you grow so little over the winter, so it's like you have to have some sort of winter setup if you're going to keep a lot of sheep. And like the slats alone cost 5,500 to put in, but they have a 25-year lifespan on them, so it's a no-brainer for us because if you took into your time of bedding doing sheep, buying gold blocks to bed them on. Aye, gold blocks, aye. But for perspective, your 60 lambs tomorrow will pay for your slats. Pretty much, yeah. Well, yeah, I don't know. They're no 45. Aye, they will. I can tell you. I was telling Sean earlier, actually, just this morning, I sold 36 kilo Shetland lambs last week. I haven't done a video because I was away. Lizzie sold them, I should say. £100, 36 kilo Shetland lambs, and that was in the air. But it's all going to be needed with the price fertiliser and feeding that. Especially you guys that need to grow a lot of grass pretty fast, like pure sheep farmers, pure sheep farmers like myself might not be so bad. But you boys will feel it. But anyway, better going. We've got a lot to see, so let's go and see the rest of it. Okay, so second stop on this whistle stop tour we're having. Well, it might not be whistle stop. This will probably go on for about half an hour, especially the amount of blethering Sean does. But we're in the second shed we're looking at today, and I'll just get Sean to tell you what is in here. He's good at the camera these days. No, that's just this is always kind of been our main sheep shed here. Father and grandfather and my uncle kind of built it when I was about 3, so 30 years ago. And in our day, she would be like a right humdinger or a shed. You can, had stood us well for a long time, but it's just it's a wee bit labour intensive now. The silage and things like that has to be wheelbarrowed in because back then there wasn't the same kind of technology there is now with feeder wagons and things like that. But what have you got in here? In here, it's kind of here at Laggy's always from kind of January right through to lambing, you're just constantly prioritising what you can get in undercover. We can't hold everything, but you're just trying to get in the things that really need to come in. So we have triplets in here. All the triplets is in here. Any kind of for the kind of condition score to use, as they came off the scanner, and he took out any kind of thinner pairs, and all our multiple gimmers is in here too. It's just trying to get everything that you want to be a wee bit better to undercover, just because it's an easier life for them in here. But that's what's in this shed just now. In Orkney, it's you can keep sheep up until kind of after Christmas, where if you get like a few dairy grazers and folk that don't have sheep, you can top your ewes on it and that. But from kind of January through the lambing time, there's very little grass growth, and if you were to put them out in the grass, you would have nothing comes lambing time. It would kind of kill the grass out a wee bit. So a shed's a kind of expensive way of doing it, but it's here and it's handy. It gives the land a good break, just for 2 months. There'll be kind of exciting times comes next winter, like she's getting are doing up, like if it'll be gotten inside her. This is the one we're making a video about. Aye, we'll do something about it maybe, but
it should be a good shade when she's done, but just gates are at their lifespan, water troughs are at their lifespan, the slats are worn, are buggered, and I'm no wheelbarrowing silage.
No.
Down here for the rest of my life.
No with the PDW arms. Right. Another phone, on to the next one.
So wired up to your tank. Pour it in, switch it on, then look at a pipe. That pipe, and then it just goes through your filter. It just goes through your system up to your tank. Then the lamine all your tops is clean and
Aye, but is it actually, it's not giving you good bacteria in their gut as well, is it?
well, it's supposed to be good for them.
Right, okay.
We did it lamine time, we sprayed the wet stuff on their udders and their nose and that with the lambs so that they were sucking good bacteria into start.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we did. This is all the rams for September.
Is it, I see it quite rough, who did they?
Right.
No, did they?
And Sean.
Aye, I see Shonians, alright. See them all summer. What's this up here?
That's singles, Romney singles. They're just kind of there ticking away. They're getting a grain of silage, but that's about it.
And this flock of geese, are these homebred?
Yeah, I think that one's probably will be resident here. That's the problem. There's a lot of resident geese here now.
Eating your winter grass.
Eating all the winter grass. They say something like 3 geese or 4 geese will eat the equivalent of a sheep in a day.
Is that right?
Yeah, so you have 200 geese on your land, you do the math.
Oh, couldn't mate, you tell me. Oh, good. So this is your other steeding we're into now?
Aye, that's the coos.
This
The coos stuff's up here.
The coo steeding.
It's just getting the cattle fed and the sheep fed every morning, and like we've got 2 indoor pits here, and Dad'll just be kind of being kind of strategic as how he takes the blocks off, kind of top blocks for cows, and then the more kind of sealed areas of the pit, it's kind of generally your best silage goes to the sheep then.
Safer for the ewes.
Yeah, just safer, just less chance of foust and things like that.
Kabuta.
It's the cheapest tractor we could buy, so hard times, you know.
Aye. I don't look about here, mate, and see hard times.
3rd generation farm, you see.
Aye, I see, aye.
Aye, so generally your bottom blocks in the pits, your better blocks, more sealed.
So this is good stuff for sheep, yeah?
That's good stuff for sheep, yeah. We have this thing here for feeding the sheep. It was originally a bale unwinder, you can. It's for wrap bales, but we built this hopper on the top of it so we could handle some pit silage. Go and feed some ewes, eh?
Aye, let's do something. Seems like Mirror and Feathers, Ian's doing all the work.
Aye.
Tell you, so many farming lasses around the UK, they now wish they were sitting in my seat. For anyone outside the UK doesn't know, Sean's been on BBC, I suppose anyone outside Scotland, because it's only been in Scotland so far. Sean and his family have been on BBC's This Farming Life this year, and a wee bit of a hit with the lassies on the old TikTok. I see a few TikToks getting made. But I have to tell you, ladies, have to break your hearts. He's taken. We're coming out. No, sorry, he's got a bird. He's got a bird. Emma will scratch your eyes out if you don't watch yourselves. Is that about right?
Aye, she would, yeah, and mine.
Right. Protective. And yours. That's the best way, keep him on his toes. Hey, here's some view to be driving to work in the morning, folks. She's bonny.
Could be better. Could be a wee bit better.
It's a wee bit hazy. It's a wee bit hazy, aye. Oh no, that's just the windy.
Aye, it's could do our cleaning. So we just dug a wee road up over this hill block here, so we could get up here with a tractor, and then you'll see in the top that it's so shallow and rocky here.
Put a heap of stone in here, did you?
Just to build this road, but on top it's just a shelf of rock that we scrape clean with a digger, just to get us a hard standing to feed some yows on. It's been a bloody hard time this last kind of 6 weeks, persistent kind of wind and rain, and generally we would put lick tubs out before we start feeding nuts, just to carry, the theory was just to try and keep them, stretch it out, but they're such a price now, we didn't bother, and we've just been making sure they get silage every day, and the silage must be not too bad because it's held the condition on the sheep quite well.
They get protein in the silage too, you'll get auto tested, do you know?
Yeah.
Aye.
But yeah, no, they weathered it fine, which is good. It saved us a wee bit of money, but because if you lose them, if you lose the condition, no, you never get it back. You can. It's a
big mistake so many people make. It's holding off feeding.
Yeah.
And then they leave it too late.
These will not be fed for 10 days yet because they're 10 days later the lamb.
Aye.
So.
Yeah. So what is this lot you've got here?
Pardon?
What's this lot you've got here?
This is the Omni pairs. They were kind of the ones that were in kind of the better condition. He's getting this bit here, the rest doing at the other farm. But yeah, no, they're taking away fine here. This is a feeder we built. Oh, I don't know, about, must have been here 6 years now. It was just a kind of upgrade design on kind of what we had up on the hill. And it works really good. Like, generally, before we bought the other farm, we'd have had more sheep in here. You can have 200 sheep on this block of hill, and that's kind of what feeds through the outside of this, like these gates swing across each side, and that's what the theory of the cattle grids each end of the feeding area was. It was so we never had to get out to drive through these ones. You just drive right through the cattle grids to get to the outer block. It works really well as long as you only put in maybe a maximum about 2 days worth of silage for what they'll eat. And if I was to change anything, like this is just a wee concrete base here, we should have profiled the concrete so as it was on a V, so as it ran the water off. Aye. If we get like a lot of bad weather here, it will fill up with water a wee bit and it soils the silage, but it's the same thing, like as long as you just feed them what they'll eat in a day, you don't waste much. But like when we did it, I wish that we had done that, like, and just profiled the concrete. It would make a huge difference. Like, if I did another one, that's what I would do. It's a bit of hassle now, like, but it's just, this is our calendar. I don't mind spending 2 hours a day feeding all the sheep as long as they're bloody looked after.
The good thing is, too, you're on an island, so it gives you something to do.
Ah, there's nothing else to do.
Some man, right, on to the next job now. So we're finished here at Laga. We're just back, doing a final little input. Sean's just tidying up the silage and that, making sure that the ewes can get it all. Been a great wee tour about.
Yeah, I hope it's of some interest to folk. Again, when I'm scouring YouTube and looking for stuff at night, it's all I want to watch, is watching other farms.
I have to have watched the Sheep Games latest video. You just see what's in
I
it.
don't know, I like that Irish fella.
I farm, we farm, Adrian.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Adrian's good, he's straight to the point. I do a bit too much messing about for you.
I don't know, don't be too hard on yourself.
He's a charmer, right? Mither's get tea on now, we're going for some steak pie. Been a great day looking about, seeing the setup. I think it's fantastic. Like, I'm the same as Sean, like, I love seeing different setups. I love what was I going to say there? I love slatted sheep sheds. Beautiful, great setup. The outdoor feeding areas, I think you'll agree, are fantastic as well. And it's just been a great eye-opener. Also love Tipari products, I must say. I'm actually jumping to Sean, I'm going to contact Tipari and see about getting one.
Yeah, no, they're worth getting, like, well, yes, especially if you're doing any sort of recording, that kind of thing, so,
aye.
Yeah, just no
you rate it?
Yeah, like, we had a combi clamp before, which was like super, but it's not just completely one man job. You can, like, it's a wee bit awkward, like, especially with fast use and that, they might be a bit sticky to go in, and then you're kind of like racing them to get to the platform, whereas this thing's just is all automatic. And we would never hit it if it wasn't been for that grant that came out last year. You got 60%. Like, well, it was 50, but being Islanders, we got 60. So.
The poor Islanders get 60%, us Lowland only get 50%.
So,
no, that was a great grant, and I think they did sell quite a lot of them through that. So yeah, I might drop my little message.
And next winter, you can see that there's already some improvements to be done, but we built all these this year, so it's for the.
And these are about, what, they £5 a metre, square metre?
No, these were. Oh hell no, fair more than that. They're about £40 a square metre or something.
£5 a thing maybe it is.
Could be, I don't know what the actual unit price is.
I mean something. It's mad in plastic,
so, yeah.
Aye, mad. Right, that's us finished anyway, and another shiny red thing in here, but tell you one thing before I finish, there's absolutely no money in farming. We'll see you for the next one, sheep fan. See you for the next one, sheep fans.